Behind the Red Line, Episode 69, The Lewis Clark Valley Murders, The Ghost in the Pines, 1979 to 1982, Idaho and Washington. Multiple victims, one connected to survival sex work, one prime suspect, 0 arrests. Between 1979 and 1982, the quiet towns along the Lewis Clark Valley were haunted by something they had no language for. Teenagers vanished, young women disappeared, bodies were found in ravines, or not found at all. One of the victims, Kristina Nelson, was believed to be tangled in survival sex work during her most vulnerable years. And the killer knew exactly who to target. A suspect walked freely. A community stayed silent, and the murders became legend. This is Behind the Red Line, Episode 69, The Lewis Clark Valley Serial Murders. Lewiston, Idaho. Clarkston, Washington. Two towns split by a river, but sharing the same fear. In the late 70s, logging trucks rumbled through the roads. Factories hummed. Bars stayed open late. Church bells echoed across the water. But beneath the small town quiet was a darkness that people whispered about only when the sun went down. Young women, girls, students, vanishing into thin air. And one name began to surface again and again. September 12, 1982. 21-year-old Kristina Nelson and her stepsister Jacqueline Brandy Miller, age 18, left their apartment and walked toward a grocery store. They never made it. The girls vanished somewhere between their door and the path behind the Lewiston Civic Theater. Kristina, at the time, was balancing poverty, instability, and, according to those close to her, moments of survival sex work to get by. She was vulnerable. She was struggling. And predators spot vulnerability like wolves smell blood. For weeks, the community searched. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. And the woods stayed silent. This wasn't the first disappearance. 2 years earlier, in 1981, Steven Bierley, a 14-year-old paperboy, vanished while doing his route near the Lewiston Civic Theater. He was last seen talking to a familiar man, someone who worked in the same building Steven delivered papers to. That building would become central to everything. In March 1984, 18 months later, a hiker near Kendrick, Idaho, discovered 2 skulls in a steep, wooded ravine. Dental records confirmed them. Kristina Nelson and Brandy Miller. They had been murdered and dumped together. Their bones told a story of violence, fatal injuries, blunt force trauma, bodies carried, dragged, thrown. but the killer had chosen the location carefully. A remote, silent place where only the trees would remember. Around the same time Kristina and Brandy disappeared, another young woman vanished. Her name was Kristy Benewick, 21. A woman connected to survival sex work, living rough, seen hitchhiking, seen getting into strangers' cars. She disappeared without a trace. Her body has never been found. But one thing ties her disappearance to the others. She was last seen talking to the same man connected to the Lewiston Civic Theater. As the murders piled up, investigators noticed one name appearing repeatedly. Lance Jeffrey Voss, a man who worked at the Lewiston Civic Theater. He knew Steven Bierley, was one of the last people to see Kristina and Brandy alive, had knowledge of the theater's tunnels and crawl spaces, was linked to multiple victims through location and timing, gave inconsistent statements, told conflicting stories about his whereabouts, seemed unusually familiar with where bodies might be found. During questioning, Voss made chilling remarks about the terrain where the girls were later discovered, as if he knew the ravine intimately. He also kept a van, identical to one reported near several disappearances. Investigators believed he was the killer, but believing is not the same as proving. The Lewiston Civic Theater wasn't just a building. It was a labyrinth. It held crawl spaces, hidden rooms, dark basements, and narrow hallways. The perfect place to lure someone. The perfect place to hide evidence. And the prime suspect had keys. Multiple people reported feeling watched while alone in the building. Others said Voss appeared from rooms that should have been locked. One woman said, "I would never go downstairs when he was in the building." The theater was a character in the murders. Silent, tall, brooding, like it held secrets in its walls. From 1979 to 1982, at least 5 victims were tied to the Lewis-Clark Valley murders. Kristina Nelson, Brandy Miller, Kristy Benewick, Steven Bierley, potentially Lorena Laurie Perlongo, another young woman who vanished under similar circumstances, all connected by geography, timeline, victim vulnerability, a single suspect, and the theater as a central location. Yet not a single charge was ever filed. No bodies inside the theater, no physical evidence, just patterns, fear, and a suspect who stayed silent. The valley had no DNA technology at the time. Records were lost. Witnesses moved away. Memories faded. And the suspect? He left the area, lived quietly, never confessed. Police named him publicly years later, but the statute of limitations on critical evidence had run dry. The murders remain unsolved. A phantom killing spree with a name but no conviction. The Lewis-Clark Valley murders haunt the Pacific Northwest, a cluster of young lives stolen, a killer who walked among them unnoticed. Kristina Nelson fought to survive. She worked when she had to, did what she could to get by, and walked a path she'd walked 100 times. But on one night, a man she may have trusted followed her into the dark. The theater still stands, the river still flows, and the shadow of the killer still lingers. This is Behind the Red Line, Episode 69, The Lewis-Clark Valley Serial Murders.